Hey guys, this is Victoria Munoz and this is Let's Get Deep. Today we're gonna have a great guest. Her name's Elisa. I actually just met her in the coffee shop and I was so amazed of the service. She was so kind and just so beautiful. Like I was like, wow, I love this place. The coffee that she made, man, it just make my heart just glow. And I was like, I need to talk to her. So I asked her to actually be on the podcast by sharing her idea. And so here we have her.
Hey, I'm Lisa. I'm a barista at Sacred Grounds and Social Circle, and I've got 3 kids at home and an amazing husband. And I just kind of wanted to give my point of view. I'm a follower of Christ, and before you roll your eyes and everything, I don't believe that Jesus Christ came here as a Baptist or a Methodist or anything like that. I believe he came here to truly save us. I am a sinner, and I fully believe that Jesus forgives me of my sins when he died on the cross. I know a lot of people don't like the rules that he set in place, which are really more like boundaries. Nobody really likes boundaries. I don't like boundaries at all. Mm-hmm. And so, but anyway, he shows love in ways that I want to show love. I want to do things for others. I don't want to... I'm not like most Christians that walk around with their nose up in the air because they're saved and you're not, and you're just evil. We're all sinners. It doesn't matter who you are. I want to show his love. I want to show his light. I want to show his compassion and his kindness to others. That's my life's goal. I don't have to be rich. I don't have to have my name in the spotlight. I just want to share Christ with others. I want to be a reflection of who Jesus Christ really is, not what other people kind of make him out to be.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm so glad you brought that point in, because a lot of people have this misconception that if they're not perfect, they don't, if they're sinning in there, they can't follow their words. I'm actually I practice Buddhism, which is just basically loving other people and just doing, like how the Bible said, just treat others the way that you want to be treated.
Right.
And it's like I grew up into a Catholic family, and I actually for my first communion was going to the church every Sunday and stuff. And the more I learn about it, I was like I can understand what I can reflect myself with this belief. There were some things that I completely disagree with, but there were other things that it spoke to me, because just you're not gonna agree with everything in life. And that's the thing. No. It's like you have to kind of pick and choose what fits best for you. But the one thing that I was having more trouble with, just religions, was the people, because in the end of the day, it's not solely like the religion, but it's the people, because they're the one that create this belief that force you to hey, if you're not doing this, then you're
going to hell. And I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of that. That's what I can't stand. It's not about anything other than Jesus Christ down on a cross for your sins.
Yes.
I truly believe that when you read God's word and his true word, that he'll speak to you in ways that other Christians can't. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he will use other Christians to uplift you or encourage you, but I really have had a hard time. My aunt passed away about 2 years ago, and she was very much like my mom. And so I've had a hard time getting back in church, just because of the simple fact that life is truly short.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to be rude, and God tells us in his word, don't forsake the fellowship of others. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe we are supposed to go to church, but I have to cleanse my heart when I go in, and I got to be ready to receive his word.
Because you want genuine. You want it to be as genuine as possible.
Yeah. I totally. I mean, it's not for me. It's not a religion. It's a relationship, and I know some people cannot understand that, but when God speaks to you,
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I guess for me, the God is the universe, but it's it's all among the same line, because when I was growing up, that was the greatest thing. The person that, not even the person, the being that not only created this, but it's giving you the opportunity to make the most out of it. Hey, it's like I'm giving you sisters and brothers that way you guys can grow and be stronger.
Exactly.
And change the way that things are right now. Like, I mean, look how far we have gone into technology, into, in the sense of like family. Like, it's just that family just means a lot, and it's because it's like we are all humans. We all meant to be loved, like you said earlier.
and family does not have to be blood.
Exactly.
I have got so many close friends that I would consider to be more family than my own blood, and it's just because we get along better, and I mean, and
it's understand each other too, and that's what them great.
And I just think that. I don't know what I think right now.
No, this is good though, because I have all my best friends. She has gave me a new perspective of like what love is, and it's like she's just my friend, but the way that I love her is so spiritually, because it's like we come together and pray. She loves before we drive. She's like, I gotta pray, and at first she used to be like, okay, go ahead, pray your thing, and they get to a point I was like, let me pray with you, let me have that moment, and she just like. They get to a point she was so happy just to know that I was, spiritually going with her somewhere else where it's like protecting us, Right. And I don't know, it's like she really taught me like, hey, like life is more. Like life is about people. Right. And that's really what like podcasts and like just TV shows and stuff in a way holds so much power within ourselves, because it's like we feel some sort of like sense of family, because we connect so deeply with the character, with the people, that it just feels like, wow, that this is now, I don't have this in my real life, but at least I have it in my imaginary one, and that kind of I know it's crazy, but like it gives you that sense of hope, because it keeps you pushing, because hey, eventually I'm gonna find a friendship that it's just how I want it to be, like this loving and funny and like like improving, because in a way too, like we're really meant to like help each other grow. Exactly. Every person that you meet, every situation that you go through, all those situations are just there to teach you a lesson, and it's an obstacle. I see life as a game in a way of like every time you overcome something, that's another level that you're going to
there's going to be something else to come. Exactly. I mean, and that's just the way life is, but you with Christ, he'll lead you in the way that you need to go through the Holy Spirit. And I mean, I'll give you an example. One time, just as clear as day, he said, don't turn left right there. Well, I went ahead and did it my way, and I got in a car wreck. And that's no lie. I mean, I truly believe that. I truly believe that Christ gave us, or the Holy Spirit, God, gives us talents to use to help better each other. Like, for example, I'm not a teacher, and this whole virtual learning thing with my boys, sweet Lord above, I don't know how he got me through it. That's why teachers have that talent. I mean, I love to sing. I only do it in the shower because it's awful. And I got to make sure it's not at night, because my husband will get up and come in and say, shut up. So we've all got our talents. I love to sing, but I can't. So somebody else can. So we've all got our talents, and that's what, as the body of Christ, I mean, it's made up of different parts. So if we can learn to work together and use those different parts, we will achieve so much more. And to bring God glory is all I really want to do with my life. Just show others love, use the talents he's given me, and bring him glory.
I agree. I mean, again, like, that's also like he gave us like, hey, like, this is all the tools, you decide what you want to create out of that. And it's like, that's how we come together so strong. Like, when we really, really come as one and say, hey, let's work together, you got your skills, I got my skills, let's combine and create something greater. I mean, that's literally like, for example, you make the coffee, like, the person that created this shop, they're never gonna make the coffee as great as you do it.
Shucks.
You're so good.
I don't know.
But it's like, that's literally like part of your job, but it's so fundamental, because you are creating the face of the shop. You literally
Right.
people. I was when I was studying and stuff. I saw people just come in with like like kind of like, whoa, this is cool. But then it's like when they talk to you, that was like a different thing. They were like, wow, like this is a really good environment. I love this, and just you can tell that they were just like glad to even come because they got to see you. They got to experience not only the shop, not only the coffee, but they got to experience you as a person sharing like, hey, like have a wonderful day. Hey, I thought you were this person. And it's like it just brings people like, oh, like wow, like this is
it
we're
makes
just
it
interacting.
personal.
Exactly, and that's like
because you can't go through life in a shell. I mean, yeah, you can, but I mean,
but it's like, what's the point of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not even creating or leaving a legacy. And at the same time, it's like our name should be a reminder of like that person. Like I want Victoria Munoz to be the name that inspired people. Like, wow, she really did all this stuff,
Right.
and she kept pushing. Like there was a lot. I've been through so much, and I never realized how much I went through until like I told my friend about like, oh, like this happening, this, and as I was literally telling it everything all at once, it hit me, and I was like, I am really a warrior,
Yeah.
and it's like I hear other people's story. I'm like, wow, like I'm so proud of everybody else, but
Right.
I never really take the time to be proud of myself. And
Yeah.
it's like,
and that is so important.
Yes.
As a mom of 3 boys and a wife,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that's why I have this job, is so I can still be Lisa
Yeah.
without being just mom
Yes.
or honey.
Yeah.
It's so important. You can't lose yourself.
Yes.
You've got to nurture yourself as well, or else you're not going to be able to make the marathon.
Yeah.
People don't realize how strong they are,
Mm-hmm.
nor do they realize how much they need to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a selfish person, but
No.
you can't you run yourself into the ground
Mm-hmm.
and then there's nobody else there to pick you up.
Yeah, because in the day you born by alone, you die alone,
Yeah.
And it's like it's all about like memories that create through. But if you're not able to pick yourself every morning up, who's gonna do it? Like
Yeah.
nobody else can motivate you to the point where you're like, I'm actually gonna do the best that I can, because
Yep.
you don't.
And
Somebody.
you've got to learn that the best you can
Exactly.
is the best
Thank
you can.
you. Thank you.
Some days, the best I can do, I'm exhausted, I'm depressed. It happens. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, it's just part of
The
life.
best I can do is get up, make sure my husband and kids are fed, and the bed's made.
Yeah.
That's my best some
Yeah.
days. Now, some days my best is a deep clean on the entire house, keep cooking a 7-course meal,
Yeah.
But our best varies from day to day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. I didn't mean
this
to
is
interrupt
really,
you.
Like, no, that's great, because I actually been coming with, because I saw this sign, like this a post on Instagram, and I read that, and I was like, wow, this is true. Like, I don't know why it felt like we have, again, like what we were talking about earlier, we create these expectations of what we have to do every day, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's not doable. Like, what are you trying to do? Burn out? And that's the
Right.
situation. It's like when you understand the power of that, just, hey, like, I did great. Just
Yeah.
pat on the back. It's like,
Yeah.
you will do even better
You
tomorrow.
know what? I
I'm
made
so-
it through this day, and some days that's enough.
Yes.
And I've battled with depression my whole life, and some days I made it through the day, and I get up the next morning, and it may be another bad day, and I get up the next morning, and maybe another bad day, but eventually the good days start rolling again.
Yeah.
Life is not always going to be about highs. You're
Yeah.
going to have lows. You're going to have in betweens.
And
It's-
then and then also the thing about it is like when you understand that, when you have a balance of that, you can really appreciate other things. Because
Right.
the other day, like I used to be depressed for a long time, and I was like what is wrong with me? Like, and the thing about it is like I felt like there wasn't really something wrong with me. It was something wrong with the idea that I have created for myself.
Exactly.
And that's where I was like, wait, like maybe let me see who I really am, and see who I really want to like love, like as a person. And then let's see if things change. And then when I started being myself and started taking care of myself and doing things that before I was like, that's too much. Like, what are you doing all this stuff? It's like, no, if it's enough, if you wanted to do that, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter if it takes you a little bit longer. It's like the time is you're gonna run. So
Yeah.
you deciding, oh, should I do this or not? Should I make the decision? It's like if you feel right, then do it.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's just like when you go to a job and you work your hours and you get your paycheck, you need to do the same thing for you at home. Because, I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years. And so I got to where I didn't reward myself. There were no trips out. There was none of that because I felt guilty. I had mom guilt, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm old, y'all. I'm sorry. And so, but I've learned that it's okay for me to go do something. It's okay for me to go get my hair done.
Yes.
I need to do that. I need to be rewarded for doing my job, just like when you go into a 9-to-5 job, whatever job you have, and you do your job and you put the time in, you get paid in some form or fashion. I reward myself a little bit. Now I don't make, millions or nothing, but I take a little bit, whether it's, a coffee, a night out with a friend or something. You've got to reward yourself a little bit. Now, I'm not saying go blow all your money at the bar one night. I used to do that quite frequently, but again, that's just where I've changed a little bit. I'm old now, so jeez, man.
That's funny. No, that's good, because again, I've been telling my mom also the same thing, because she was kind of getting bored of life, and it's like she has also a 7-year-old girl, like my sister. And it's like, she already thinks like, oh, like I already, life is just sucky, and like the only person that I have to like really, live by for is my little sister. But I was like, hey, like, what about you? You should be living for yourself, because when you live for yourself, you're also happier. And then when you're happier, the kid is happier. Yeah.
Your cup begins to runneth over.
Yes.
Because you have more of you to give at that point. You've allowed yourself to stretch further, and then by taking care of yourself, you're then able to take care of your child.
Yeah, and you teach them too.
Yes.
It's the thing. That's the most, because
man, I got 3 boys. Pick up your clothes. Pick up your toys. Pick up your clothes. I don't make y'all do the dishes yet. I ain't making you do the laundry yet. But I mean, still, those things will come.
Yeah.
But you got to do stuff for you, and you've got to learn. Here's a big one too. You've got to learn to ask others for help.
Yes. I actually just learned that this year. It's
man,
been like just now.
Pride comes before a downfall. Y'all check that out. That's in God's word too. I'm just saying. And I'm gonna tell you, you'll run yourself thin, because you don't say, hey, I need help. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need $5 for gas. You'll get the opportunity to pay them back.
Yeah.
I mean, it just ask for help.
Yeah. Because it's like, if you don't, it's gonna even hurt even more, and then eventually you're gonna have to ask. Because if you don't ask, then how are you gonna do it?
Right.
We're made to work together. And
that brings us back to that point of. We all have a way that we can help somebody else. Don't steal somebody else's joy by being too prideful to say, I need your help.
Yeah.
A lot of people relish in the fact that they get to help other people.
Yeah. And that's also like the thing I think we had to learn. I think we didn't have enough time learning that as a child, like in their childhood and stuff, because it's like at school, it's like you have to be independent, you have to do your own things, and we're so afraid, like I have to do my stuff, like teamwork, it's only like sometimes where it's like it's too like much of it, but it's like we shouldn't do that to that point. Like even like we're elementary, we always like, oh, you want to play, like you want to be my friend, that was like the most genuine, like kids were happy and everything. Eventually it's like, hey, like things are horrible, like because the kids are being learned, like, hey, you can't be so dependent on people. You can't do this, and it's like they kind of take away that part, and then they'll say, hey, instead of like taking it away, let's say, let me teach you how to actually be even better, more efficiently, because not only you're asking for help, but you're also helping. Because like, even like how you said, like just talking to somebody else, it just helps so much. Because it's like even here in America, the depression levels is so high. Like guys, actually
it's
has
ridiculous.
the highest. Yeah, and it's sad because like it's only like we're so connected by the media and the internet.
Oh, I hate the media.
It literally sucks your life.
It does. Y'all can't believe everything you watch on the news. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Don't believe
scary.
everything you see on the news. It can be just as one-sided as it can possibly get. I'm just saying.
Yeah, be careful because they're literally just feeding you.
Yeah, I mean, and you can take a story of the cow is brown, or it would be that cow is brown coming up next. I mean, they can just take it to a whole new level of a brown cow.
Right.
I mean, it's an evil brown cow, or it's just a brown cow, or it's the best brown cow I've ever seen in my life. It's all in how they choose to write it in order to feed it to you, in order to get the ratings.
Yeah, because it's like beneficial. No, that's good. Because it's beneficial to them, and that's why they're trying to like they're being selfish, because it's like they're not realizing that maybe that the way that they portray that cow now is affecting somebody else. Okay, what about the other cows? So they cows are not like my cow is not good. Like what you know? It's like
do I need to trade? Do I need to trade my blue cow in for a brown cow?
Right.
Oh my gosh!
Right, and it's like, come on, like
brown is the new blue.
So it's
Let's find somebody new to hate.
It's like, come on, guys, you don't let that control you.
No.
That's where you kind of come in. It's like, I'm not saying get off the media, but just learn to absorb what's correct, and like don't let other people just feed you with things that you don't even want to eat. Like, do you really want to take that? Like, come on.
Somebody once told me, take the meat and leave the bones. So it took me a while to figure out what that meant, but I finally learned it means take what is truth and okay, and the rest of it, however they're trying to affect you, just throw it away. Them's the bones, just throw it away. Can't
Make
eat them
your
no
life
way.
easier, man.
Yep.
Because it's like when you realize that, it's like you literally save so much time too. Because it's like you're literally like going among life, like, okay, this is my idea, I cannot change it because this is just the way that are. And then it's like there's great opportunities that come your way, and because this is only where there is, then you're not able to like absorb and like also even see clearly all the opportunities that might be for you. And the guy where say, hey, like, here is this, because guys, God doesn't tell you this is the right choice, these are the right choices, you choose, and then according to that, then a better outcome or a different one might come out of it. So, but you have to have the strength to make the decision within yourself. Like how you were saying, like you lost a lot of weight, and it was because you made the decision. You just realized my family has have a lot of medical issues and stuff, so I'm gonna change it around because let me be smart. Let me just learn from other people's mistakes. It's like now it's like you're like, okay, so I'm more conscious of like what I have to do and what I can do, and it's like I bet you feel even like happier and like just like, I don't know, like more comfortable with your body, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. My husband's I can't go in that room. Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable. Yeah,
that's good, and that's like force of love because you made the decision. Hey, like I'm doing this for myself because I want to feel happy with my body. I want to be proud of what I have come to. And
but it's also helped our marriage, not just in the bedroom. He has also talked about how proud he is of me. Yeah, and as a wife,
him.
Yeah. He's like, Lisa, I'm really proud of how much weight you lost. I'm really proud of your determination. I know it's not easy. He recognizes, and that's helped our marriage a lot, because he's, there's things called love languages, and I'm an affirmation kind of person. So when he affirms me that I'm doing good, then, that just starts filling my love bank up. And I'm like, all right, cool. Right. And it makes other things go a lot easier too,
Exactly.
Puts me in a good mood. My son said the other day, if mom's in a good mood, everybody's in a good mood.
So what he say too.
I'm like, okay, son, don't say that in front of your dad again, Todd. My husband was like, no, son, it's not, no. That's not how it goes. But I mean, truth be told,
Yeah, but look, even your kids are learning that. They're learning how, like, because it's like they're seeing, like, you guys are just like the role models of the future for them.
Right.
It's like they're learning to love, they're learning to be consistent and disciplined and determined, by just watching you being, just being the person you are. Because it's like you say, like, no more, and they're like, wow, like mom can do that, and if mom is happy, then things are better. It's like it might be the same thing for me, and that's where they even become to be a greater people.
Right. I tell you one thing, and this is kind of along the lines of what you're talking about, is like for my boys and being a parent, I'll let you know now, I turn into a monster mommy. My head starts spinning, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, my eyes are rolling in my head. I mean, it's scary. But one thing I have tried to do as a parent is when I was around someone else with kids, this was before I had kids, and even afterwards, just seeing how they talk and interact with their children, how, they handle certain moments, what they do. Everything in life is a learning opportunity. Everything. So again, you take the meat and leave the bones. Okay, that, and I'm not saying that there's a rule book that you need to go by. Try this, and this. No, I mean, it's just like with disciplining them. There's, as somebody said, there's several tools in the tool belt. There's timeout. There's restriction. I mean, things like that.
This is what works better, because it's like the thing about you now. You're getting the decision to decide. But you want to add that?
It's my boss.
Okay, go. But yeah, it's just like you letting making the decision, like, hey, we're gonna do this the way that it is, and let's try different things and see until the one that fits best, you know. And that's this is where you have kind of the power there, because like, hey, like, let's keep trying, but like, this is what I want you to like learn, because it will help you, you know. Yep. And like, let's see, if you don't like this idea, then let's try this one or the other one, and it's like you're.
But that applies to anything in life.
Yeah.
It applies to anything in life. You're on a road you don't like. You're stuck in a career you hate.
Yeah.
Man, I used to work in television, and there's no way on God's green earth I would go back now. I mean, it was great for the point I was in my life. I made a lot of money. I worked, I was single. I could work,
How many hours you want? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was no limits, no problem. Now you couldn't pay me enough to go back. I have learned that titles don't mean jack diddly, that money is temporary, and what really counts is true happiness. And I do find that in Jesus Christ. I no longer seek to be somebody I thought I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I've changed. I just want my life to be, again, reflective of Him. And I am so much happier now than I have ever been in my entire life.
Wow. I'm so glad. I'm so happy to hear this, because it just, again, it's just giving the perspective, because like somebody like you that have that do everything, basically, like do everything in your power, to be better, and to like make sure that your kids are better and that you're happier, because again, you're taking care of yourself, because you're making the decision, hey, like, I might not make as much money, but at least I'm happy, and that's what all matters, because I get to spend time with my husband, my kids. What
is truly important to you? Providing your kid with a $10,000 ATV at Christmas, or
spending time with them.
You can still go outside, and there's plenty of nature parks you can walk through with them, and that's really better for you too, because you're getting the exercise in. You're getting actual time in. What is your priorities in life?
And that's kind of what comes, like, when you make yourself your priority, your family, Jesus, that should be kind of like the first one for you, because it's like you're passionate about it.
Do you know what brings you joy?
What? Oh, for me, just helping people.
Yep. Joy. Jesus, others, you. When you focus on Jesus, He can direct you in how to help others, and He will also be taking care of you during that time. So for me, that's how I find joy. Everybody's joy is going to be a little different. For me, Jesus, others, you.
I love that. I would never thought of that. That's such a beautiful,
No, that ain't from me. I got that off of one of the little needlepoint works at a church I went to a while back.
Because somebody was like, that might be their joy, and they didn't realize it. Because like, now that they understand your perspective of even God, it's like, wow, like, maybe I've been, like, kind of like looking over and like not really taking the time to see what's there for me,
Right.
It's like, again, like the way that you portray it, it's just differently, because it's like it's so it literally comes from your heart. Like, it's just like so
it truly does. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes when I'm going through some of those depressions, I'm very self-focused at that point. I don't see anything that's going right. Everything's going wrong. And I truly am self-focused. I'm having my own little personal pity party. And then, for example, a girl that I went to church with when I was really little, we went to school together some. She was a couple years older than me. I just found out it was brutally murdered.
Oh, wow.
With no suspects.
Yeah.
And it just, all of a sudden, I'm kind of taken aback again. My vision has been taken off of myself and directed towards somebody else. I know somebody else I need to be praying for, because somebody's always got it worse than you. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, always. I mean, there's people living out on the streets,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's got it worse than you. You've got to, while you do have to take care of yourself, you can't be selfish. It's kind of a very difficult, and trust me, I'm going to be honest, I cannot balance that tray for diddly. But I do my best.
Yeah.
It goes back to the whole best thing.
Yeah. Because, that's the best that's working for you. So
exactly.
That's the thing that matters.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it might be for me or somebody else out there, it's like, it might be completely different. They're like, maybe that's not right. But it's like, it is working for them. Because they're still being a good person. It's being a good person for themselves too, So, thank you for being in my podcast. I really like your ideas and your perspective of life. It really gave me a different, like, it changed my perspective as well. And that's also
what I'm looking for.
Yes.
I love to talk with people. I love to hear their different perspectives, and this was so enjoyable. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.